This week is madness, and no matter how I try and start this reading out, whether it be for my YouTube channel or my energy blog, it just seems to be disheveled madness every single time. So I really want to start talking about with the eclipse. I just want to start with the eclipse energy, because what this eclipse did for all of us was present us with the receipts of the past, I want to say Pluto and Capricorn, so past 20 years. This is more than 20 years ago, but I've been kind of getting lots of deja vu and flashbacks to the 90s. 1990 has come up quite a bit. Songs from the 90s, references from the 90s. I mean, yes, that's my childhood. So again, take this as this resonates for you, but there is something about the past coming back up. And again, the fact that this is the 10 years prior to Pluto and Capricorn gives me the sense that there is something that we left behind while we were in Pluto and Capricorn throughout the past 20 years that is coming back to be incorporated in this next 20 years, Pluto and Aquarius. So sit with that as you take in the rest of this. This eclipse gave us glimpses into the future as well as receipts from the past. There's also been some stuff coming up around things you might not see on the other side of the table, so to speak, from where you've been manifesting. It's like showing you focal points from other sides or other angles that maybe you lost sight of or weren't able to see. So there is an aspect to this eclipse that can give a bit of existential crisis. Like there's this sense of the past is still hanging on, right? And meanwhile, the future almost seeming unattainable because of current events, because of how some other people are more advanced than you, potentially. Doesn't matter how advanced you are, there's always going to be people who are more advanced, more futuristic, more innovative, right? There's always going to be that. So there's this sense of like, we can't meet our quota or we're not going to make it. There's like this impending fear coming through. But really that is the Virgo South Node saying, and again, this was a Virgo full moon, this is a Virgo eclipse. That is Virgo South Node saying, why are you trying to compare yourself? Where is your perfectionism taking hold? And how might your need for logic, practicality, and realism need to move a little bit on that scale? Maybe we need to scale our practicality, scale our realism, right? By realizing quantum physics, is our new reality. It's always been the reality, but not everybody's been aware of that because of traditional beliefs. But now we're in this paradigm shift between traditional beliefs and traditional structures into new innovation, new experimentation in structures. Now, I think a lot of people thought this was going to be more well thought out versus what we're getting from the US government right now. And it's just mad chaos. It's like mass chaos, right? I think we all thought this experimentation and this innovation was going to be more tech driven from a more well thought out perspective, right? More put together. And I think that is exactly why it's happening the way it is. It's happening to shock you out of some kind of comfort in traditions and conservatism, because it doesn't work anymore. As I say that, the anxiety starts to take hold in the heart chakra. So what I'm saying when I say that as a trance medium, I am picking up on a lot of energies collectively that are a bit panicked in this, a bit, they're losing their grip of control. So a lot of you guys, especially in my collective, the group of people that I work with and like the audience that I'm more geared towards, your neurodivergent, your abuse survivors, your working on self-healing and self-empowerment, those of you guys are probably feeling this a lot harder right now than normal, where you're feeling people are trying to grasp hold of you to pull you back into that old paradigm, because either they fed off of you financially or emotionally, right? Or if you're leaving it, it means that they're going to have to move, shift, change in some way that they're not comfortable changing. So do you see how we've got some third eye activation coming on for people who weren't expecting their third eye to activate, to upgrade? And they're being forced to see through new perspectives, forced to see how things coexist that they just thought were separate, right? Because that's just how they operated. That's just how they worked, right? That's just how, tradition is. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? And it's like, but it is broke. Even if you didn't want to see it as broken, someone just came into the White House and broke it. So now what? Do you know what I'm saying? So that's what I mean by it's almost like the universe orchestrated this to shake some people into this new paradigm of whatever Pluto and Aquarius wanted to bring us. And it's like Pluto was like, we weren't going to get it from what you guys were slowly snail pacing towards. So I went ahead and just shocked you. That's what this eclipse was. And for some of you guys, it's like, well, I already knew, what do you mean it was shocking me? It maybe was shocking you further by shocking the people connected to you. Maybe people you're even not aware that you're still connected to energetically. Do you get what I'm saying? Like people from your past, people, family members that you've broken ties with, karmic people, karmic settings and environments, places that you no longer resonate with that are still tied to those things that you no longer resonate with. But sometimes when we're switching an entire paradigm, right, people still have an idea of who they think we are. And when we switch a new paradigm, we shift into a new paradigm, they don't see it until it's late. It's too late. So now all of a sudden they're having to catch up. They say it takes 7 months before a person sees the change that you have created in your life through self-growth, right? Same thing. You've already shifted this paradigm for the most part, most of you. You've shifted into it. You've started stepping into it. And of course, there's more to that. That's where the existential crisis comes in here. Because the more you step into this new paradigm, the more that you're going to, everybody, in that new paradigm, or those that you were there before you are like, yeah, where you been? Do you know what I'm saying? That's what the liminal space is between these two paradigms. So that's what a lot of you guys are going through, is this liminal space of like, I cannot get the past to let go, and I can't seem to get 2 feet into this new paradigm. That's because of these cords. That's because of whatever beliefs hold you into that old timeline. This is because of bindings, right? Whatever has an energetic hold over you, that's what this eclipse was for. So you still have some people who are just now getting shocked out of their comfort zone, where they still had a version of you in their mind that has been expired for a minute. Waking up, shocked by your existence, going and finding you on their on your social media, looking at you now, shocked by where you are now. Maybe there's some gossip, maybe, you know what I'm saying? This is also something that happens when there are astral ties to people and people have dreams. Sometimes during paradigm shifts and stuff like this, people will have spontaneous dreams about you and people like that. All kinds of weird situations that are trying to speed up a process of getting you out of an old paradigm and into the new. It's whatever domino effects the universe has to create to break those cords that bind you to the past. So that's why this has been really hard for me to talk about, and I've started this message multiple times. I feel like we're on a good roll this one. So we're going to go with it. But yeah, this week's message is about continuing to find your own pace in this new timeline. There's a lot of rushing, panicking, and pushy energy coming into a lot of you guys' energy fields as you change into this new timeline, as you split timelines, and as you get out of that old paradigm. Because anything that's still binding you to that old paradigm or attempting to is probably panicked in some way, shape, or form right now because of what's happening. Because they either didn't think that it would ever happen, right? Or if it's just too much for them all at one time. That's kind of what I'm getting from what's happening right now in the current events for those who weren't really woke, so to speak. It's almost like this deer in the headlights energy or scramble panic to protect oneself. So a lot of you guys might have people that you're disconnected from pulling on your energy, especially if you're disconnected from family. And a lot of you guys are breaking generational curses and traumas and whatnot. You have separated yourself from family and karmic individuals. And those are the people who are looking to you because to you, you are some form of progression. Because you broke a tie, a chain that they felt should be held under their ruling in some effect, right? So of course you're going to have those types of people pulling on your energy, panicking about the job market, panicking about safety, panicking about what should and shouldn't happen. This is especially for my spiritual crew. Don't get pulled into that. You guys have ties with guides and visions and past in the future with premonitions. And again, those things can get confused at a time like this because you got too many energies coming through. So maybe you're getting confused about your messages, right? Maybe you're getting confused about your channel and like what is for you and what's coming through to tell you about what is pulling on you. Make sure you take as much time as possible to be in your own energy, to stay in your own lane, and to do what you need to do to speak on that as well. Don't stop standing in your power because people think it's dramatic or you're being too much. There's nothing too much about standing on boundaries that are refusing to be honored by certain people and respected by certain people. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing uncouth. There's nothing unsatisfactory except for the person that's not able to feed on you anymore or play games with you. And again, it's not even about that at this point. It's about somebody panicking and somebody feeling like it's a codependency thing, right? So again, be mindful of how much you're feeding this energy. I will say it's been really intense for me. And again, I'm a trance medium, so this stuff comes through my channel from the human, from the spirits, from the soul ties, from the egregores, from the entities. I mean, it's insane how much I can pick up on depending on what I'm meant to tap into. And so again, it depends on where you're at and what the potency of your gifts and that how much this will actually affect you. But I'm scratching my left leg as I say this. Be mindful. Specifically, this area represents the emotions you take in. Be mindful of the emotions you're taking in. The things that you feel that you need to act on. Be mindful of the emotions that are driving you in certain directions because they just might not be yours. As I say that, I'm feeling pressure on the upper chest, signifying a threat in the energy field. So again, there's quite a bit of closing out of spiritual bindings as well as actual energetic relationship, emotional bindings with people. Again, take what resonates for you with wherever you are in your path and whatever you have going on. There's quite a bit of just kind of like out of pocket stuff happening as well, like things coming out of left field, people taking responsibility for things that, I mean, quite frankly, it's just kind of like out of line and overstepping, like intrusive type energy, like handler, groomer type stuff. I really, if that's more your steez and that's what you need to hear to help you keep moving forward, go check out my my threads, because I'm going to be probably in the future doing some kind of psychological defense, not psychic defense, psychological defense for abuse survivors. I'm probably going to be doing a class on that in the near future, but for now I post a lot of threads about that kind of stuff. Regardless, it feels like there's a lot of timelines and cords being cut off when it comes to this type of thing right now, preventing you from seeing the possibilities that you have at hand. So this week is all about rectifying that for a lot of you guys, specifically a feminine collective that has been doing the work, has been holding down the fort. And I called this week's blog post Freaky Friday for this reason, because it feels like the women have stepped into the men, or the feminine have stepped into the masculine, and the masculine into the feminine. Take what resonates with that, because it's you know, we're alluding to like unhealed aspects as well in that. But it just feels like some of you guys have really healed beyond certain things and stepped into this very structural, disciplined, masculine aspects of yourself, and that's being challenged by people who are holding positions as masculines but a little unhealed. Now here's the thing with that this week, again, that Mars in Cancer energy is really being pointed out. It has been through this eclipse. I mean, we even, again, I don't want to keep bringing up politics, but they said no, dude. The whole thing about the reporting about Musk in the White House crying, right, and having a tantrum, right? There's this energy of narcissistic collapse going on right now. That's because we have Mars in Cancer, emotional, sensitive Cancer, right? While Venus is in its home sign of Aries. So Venus, the feminine energy, the energy of attraction, is in Mars's home sign of war, house of self, right? While it's retrograding, so it's moving slowly. So we almost have more attention on the feminine, more attention on neurodivergency even right now, that is taking the place of Mars, while Mars has to sit in its emotions. So do you see how there's kind of like this narcissistic collapse going on for the control freaks, for the narcissist, for the ones who had the authority and they're starting to lose it, or had control and grasp on a reality that is now being kind of slowly shifted out of their hands, out of their favor because of Pluto? Bing, boom, bop. Right? I know it doesn't look like it right now. It looks like crisis and mayhem from a macrocosmic sense. Yes. But even as I say that, my words kind of getting all mixed up, the throat kind of getting all funky. It's giving Gemini. Jupiter's in Gemini. Expansion is coming through. A bit of two-faced aspect, a bit of dualism, a bit of Freaky Friday, switching sides, trading spaces, trying on other people's shoes type thing. And so there's this sense of like, if you want to expand, you're going to have to get comfortable in new shoes. You have to get comfortable in being misunderstood. You're going to have to get comfortable being a little bit mysterious. You're going to have to get comfortable being curious and being playful and kind of dancing in this nightmare versus wanting to grip control of it. That is the last thing you want to do right now if you want expansion and if you want success and prosperity, is to grasp onto the old or to grasp onto control. And I think that also has to do for the revolutionaries here. Protesting, fighting for your rights, fighting for social justice, fighting for those things are also going to take a turn when it comes to how we access those things because of Pluto in Aquarius. And I know this is challenging, and again, I think this is exactly why we're not getting much headway. And I did say this when the nodal transit shifted into Pisces North Node at the beginning of the year. I did mention this in my blog post, saying we're probably going to have challenges getting headway when it comes to collective humanitarianism and advocacy work because of, and this was before any of this mayhem started with this presidency. This had a lot more to do with just the astrology around everything right now and how everyone is growing. Their awareness is growing. Their awareness of old restrictions, and again, that shifting meter of what is realistic anymore. Because a lot of you guys are starting to realize you can take action in places you thought were restricted, right? And some of you guys are seeing restrictions in places that seemed comfortable or safe. So you're starting to realize that meter of realism, that meter of practicality is actually not nearly as accurate as you may have thought. And so you're probably shifting the way you look at what is realistic right now, what is practical, what is logical, by taking in a lot more information and kind of sitting with it, processing it, and kind of shifting your perspective on things. So give it time, because that's what that eclipse was about, was giving you those angles. And yeah, in those angles, you probably got a little emotional, Mars in Cancer, feeling like I can't control this, I cannot figure out how to work with this, because you need to sit with it longer. There's a lot more to it. There's a lot more angles to it. There's a lot more pieces to the puzzle that maybe you didn't see. So that's, again, that was this eclipse. Now, into the next eclipse, which is going to be in Aries. I'm pretty sure. Hold on. Let me double check. Don't have to backtrack. Yeah, Aries. So this new moon partial solar eclipse on the 29th is in Aries. And so again, we're getting back to Venus. We're getting back to the feminine. We're getting back to how we manifest and how we attract. So again, everything that we just learned and took in is probably going to take us up to this new moon to fully integrate in some form. Right, there's some aspects of this that will take that long to integrate, or we might not even start integrating until this new moon. So take what resonates with you, wherever you are in this path, wherever you are with your comfortability with this shift. So slow down and give yourself some grace right now. And again, it feels like there's this urgency here, like you need to panic, you need to rush, you need to hurry up, we don't have time for this, like, why are you playing with me, universe? Like, why are you letting these people play with me? Why are these people coming back in my reality, wasting my time, slowing me down? You know what I'm saying? There's that kind of energy coming on, which is kind of like, we do not have time for that. That is very Capricorn. That's very Capricorn. That's very masculine. So shift it, work with it, because that is also Mars and Cancer, right? That is also an emotion, that diligence, that frustration, that irritation is also an emotion that needs to be dealt with, or maybe even, an avoidance of something that could actually help you. For some of you guys, it's not even that you're avoiding grief. Someone else has been avoiding grief, and that grief is now being pummeled back onto you as they're experiencing it again, paradigm shifting, timelines closing. Some of you guys, someone has avoided grief while you've been doing nothing but grieving. And now it's like you're on your way out of something, and here it comes tumbling back onto you. If that describes you, then most likely if you're experiencing this slowdown has a lot more with you accessing aspects of yourself that you've been denying yourself, you've been too busy to really dive into. There's creative edge there. There's potential waiting there. There's something there that the universe is trying to show you that is going to be more successful or add to your success in some way. Like, you got a world of infinite possibilities waiting for you, and you've been limiting yourself in some way just because of the shifts and everything that's going on. Trust the timing. I think that's the biggest challenge right now, is trusting the timing, and again, trusting yourself to produce, to perform, to work, to get things done, right? Trust that you are good enough and that whatever you are doing is enough. right? And the more that you feed yourself that, the more that you talk yourself through this, the less you're going to feed somebody else's urgency, the less you're going to feed somebody else's grief, right? Feeding that positive reinforcement to the inner child as you're moving forward, because that's the whole thing, is like reassuring yourself that you're safe, that you're good enough, that it's going to be okay, right? And again, the more you do this, the more you're going to see you create your own reality. You create the energy around you. You create this experience for yourself, right? And you determine how much it pummels you, no matter what is coming through, right? Or how much you succeed and conquer it. And so again, like I said, sometimes you might have something blindside you. Like this eclipse was very much spontaneous and chaotic and unexpected. When it comes to the energy you probably experience, also dreams, weird dreams and things like that. We didn't even get into that. Some of you guys probably having a hard time sleeping, having some weird dreams. Again, timeline shifting. That's probably a lot of that stuff had to do with that. But regardless, these spontaneous things that may have slowed you down are not saying you can't do what you want, you can't make it. They're trying to help you access what is going to make that experience better. So take that as that resonates and work with that this week. By the end of the week, as I wrote in my energetic blog, the week ended with the Queen of Wands, and in another card pulling, the High Priestess. So things that we have yet to be revealed to us still coming in next week and throughout the rest of this Venus retrograde. But continue to create, continue to stand on business, continue to hone in on that fire energy, that inspiration, the things that ignite your happiness, your fun, and the things that protect you, your heart, your fulfillment, your joy, right? It doesn't always have to be hard and fighting and aggressive, and sometimes you got to put your foot down, right? But you can still have fun in that. You can still be the baddie you want to be. You can still be on fire and electric and abundant, and you can still call energy in, right? Even if there is danger present, and stand on business all in one time, all in one, right? And so again, you know, the sun moves into Aries this week. We've got Sagittarius at the end of the week, and Venus and Mercury are still in Aries until they retrograde back into Pisces right around the new moon eclipse. So we still have a good 2 weeks of that fire energy as well. So use this week specifically around Thursday through Saturday. Use that time to really amplify your creative work and to drive yourself into this new paradigm. Do not sleep on yourself right now. I know it is challenging. I know it seems like you need to sit back and wait for, you know, a safe time to move forward. But again, access the pace that's right for you and keep moving forward. Don't give up right now. And again, take the beginning of this week to process for sure as the moon moves through Scorpio, because it's going to help you deepen the awareness and also deepen the acceptance with those darker emotions and aspects of this transition right now. For more information, again, check out my energetic blog for this week. That's posted today as well on the MindGeek EDU app. You can access that in the link tree in my bio and join for free. I also announced my classes there, which we will have some new classes announced in the spring. So you definitely want to get on there now so you get updates on that, as well as any promotions that I'm running. Lastly, if you are seeking assistance with the shifts right now, especially some ancestral healing and clearing, as well as some understanding of your gifts and awareness, check out my one-on-one sessions, link in bio as well for my website to book those. But in the meantime, take care, guys, and keep going. Don't give up.